This is episode 197 of Look What Just Found. In 196, episode 196, I went on a little bit of a rant and talking about what I feel is most helpful with my channel, with helping others who might not have a basic understanding of penny errors, how this channel could help you in relationship or juxtaposed to other coin channels or forums or websites that I feel are not helpful. Okay, so I feel this channel is helpful. I feel a lot of other channels are not helpful as far as helping people learn the basics of penny roll hunting. So without further ado, we're going to look at a customer submitted penny roll, right? So a customer put pennies into this sleeve, which, by the way, I've never seen. This is a sleeve error. I've never found a sleeve error before. Most of them do not have that line there. So this is a miscut sleeve. I've never found a miscut sleeve before. So we're starting off on the right foot. How cool is that? Oh, look at that. Doesn't even say, oh, wow. Oh, that is cool. Anyway, I get excited about simple things like that. Maybe that's a good sign that this is going to be chock full of errors. Oh, look at all those copper pennies in here. Oh, nice. Oh, very nice, very nice. What a nice roll. Look how nice and straight that came out. What a beauty. So I'm not going to talk about that during this video. Oh, a 92. So the 92, we are looking for the close AM. Right. So what I'll do is I will do my, those letters look a little weird in trust, right? Let me look at those under the loop. Super weak strike in the TRU in trust. But I also see the, you see the circle there? It could, I wonder if the crimp roll knocked off the letters. I'm not sure. All right, we're looking for a close AM. It is not a close AM. It is a weak strike, though, so I will put that to the side. Well, a weak strike, it could be a crimp roll error, but regardless, it looks like a weak strike. So I guess that's where I was going with that. So one of the questions I get asked a lot, again, I'm going to give you a second to answer that question. Answer my question with a question. What question do you think I get asked the most? Most of you, if you watch my channel, you already know what the answer is. The answer is, how much is that worth? That I get asked that question every day in the comments, and I don't want to say every single language, but many languages. You might say, how do you know that, Jess? You speak a lot of languages? Speak some Spanish. But what I do is, if you highlight and you right click on a word, it says translate. So I'll translate it. I'll translate a comment that's in another language, and a lot of them say, "What's the value?" or something like that. So even some people want to know, because right. So why are people asking that? Oh, look at that. You see that, right? Is that just dirt? I think it's just dirt. This looked like it had little teeth on it or something, you know? And I do. We're looking for the wide AM, the 2000, the 98, 99, 2000, the wide AM era. No wide AM. I have researched on eBay many pennies. So, I have a 1960D. So this is a key variety. The 1960D is a key variety. You have to know if it's a small or large date. There's several indicators. Our member Otis will, or Rosie Key, if she's still around, one of you two will let me know if this is a small or large date. Has something to do with the zero and the location of the numbers. But the other thing to know about the 1960D, besides whether or not it's a small or large date, and the fact that it's a key variety, is the fact that it's bronze. The 1960D and 1960 Philadelphia are bronze. Does that make it more valuable? No, it just makes it different. It's kind of a cool little piece of tidbit to know. You might say, well, why is it bronze? Well, I think it's probably pretty important to know what the other pennies are made of, to know what the difference is. The other pennies are 1994. We are looking for the double die. The 1994P, we'll look for the double die in the reverse. Nope. And pennies are made of 95% copper. Copper pennies, I'm saying, obviously. And the other 5% is, I believe, zinc. So copper pennies are 95% copper and 5% zinc. From so that 59, 60, and 61, the 5% is not all zinc. It's part zinc and part tin. It's the tin as part of that five. I don't know if it's 2.5, whatever it is, but it's the tin that makes it bronze. There's tin in the 60, 59, 60, and 61 has tin in it also. And that's what makes it considered bronze. So it's not arbitrary. Is that our first copper? I don't remember. That might be our first copper. Oh no, we got the 60 also, the 60D, that's copper. 84, looking for the double ear. No double ear. I want to make sure that's not a die clash in the letters above the A. It's probably just dirt. It has that die clashy shadow look to it. It is just dirt. So finding a valuable penny, well, again, you need to know the basics. You need to know, what a die clash is, a strike through. Um, I highly recommend using a penny mat that shows the varieties and the semi key dates and things like that. And it's a good tool. I use it. That is that's a good example of a wire rim. It's also misaligned die. Yeah, it's a little misaligned on the obverse. That's a good example of a wire rim. You can see the extra copper. It's a collar error, right? So it's a collar error. So a collar is what holds the planchet in place while it gets struck by the hammer and anvil. It's misaligned on a reverse. So this would be considered technically a off-centered cent. That's a good example of a misaligned die. It's not a good, it's very weak off-centered, maybe 1% or something like that. That's a good example of a wire rim. Hey, hey, a Canadian. This is the one with the, look at the sides. How cool is that? What year is it? Now, one thing to notice about the difference between foreign coins and US coins is that the image on the reverse is not set the same way as it is in the US. So in the US penny, right, when you flip it, right, so this is kind of cool, right? You can flip US pennies and it stays upright. But on most foreign coins, all that I know of, actually, if you flip it, it's upside down. The image is upside down. So you have to go like this. Okay, well, we got a Canadian. That was pretty cool. Very interesting roll. Oh, look at this. We got a wheat cent. Nice. 52. Wow, a 52D. I know this is not searched through. Ah, man. Look at that. It's in fine condition. I mean, I think it's a little bit better than very good. It's just looks like dirty or something, right? Well, irregardless, what a nice find this is. I want to look at that too. I'm gonna look at the elements under the loop. Oh, I haven't found a wheat cent in a long time, man. That was pretty cool. Maybe I'll use this for the thumbnail. So what's it worth? I mean, you have to check. Most wheat cents are only worth, a quarter or something like that, 10 cents a quarter. But it's still nice to find, and some of them do have good, more value. I'm gonna say that's another collar error, tilted hub error also. Bunch of stuff going on here. You know, I mean, you could also even weigh all your pennies. If you have the time to weigh everything, go for it. I mean, underweight and overweight. I mean, um, uh, underweight and overweight cents out of tolerance pennies. They also have. There's so many ways to make um, money. I mean, when I say money, maybe it's only $1 or two, but it's still, still something. It's an honest living, right? What a great roll this is, man. What a great roll. 63D. Now, can you pay your mortgage and support yourself on penny roll hunting? Probably not. I'm going to say no to that. I mean, I mean, the amount of work it would take, you're probably just better off getting a job at McDonald's or something. But you can have a hit here and there, and it's basically for nothing, right? If you, um, the 60D might be worth 50 cents, you know. Um, Now, a good question might be, have I ever found valuable pennies? Of course I have. I have found valuable pennies. The most valuable ones I've ever found, which I believe I have finally identified after all these months, the error I'm saying, 84, we're looking for the double ear. No double ear. It is misaligned. Oh, look at that. It has a squash the zinc. There was a group of pennies that I found when I went to a bank that I never went to before, a branch, and um, Eric from keeneEyeCollectables, his YouTube channel description is below. He said he thought that it was somebody's coin collection. It's possible. I mean, I believe that. I mean, even if it was from a roll, all the pennies that I found in these rolls that were had the same era were from the same die and hammer. I mean, they were just it was beyond coincidence. They were and that's called sequential. So it was a sequence. I found 30 of them out of 5 rolls. I found 30 sequential um, die errors, strike errors, and I believe no one had. I asked. As a matter of fact, the video is if you click on the yeah, I'll show you. Let me see if I can show you very quickly. If you click on, you heard me. If you click on. So give me 1 second. I'll show you. Okay. All right. I'm gonna raise the volume on it a little bit. Search. And maybe that's why they call it roll, because these are called wrappers or sleeves, right? But so we call it. I'll pause it. There are penny roll. So if you click on that, right, it takes you to my homepage, and my homepage video is this video. All right, and I have not received. I'll even show you the comments. Okay, Otis made a funny comment. That's it. That's all I got. I asked for help, and this is what I got. But I've since discovered what the I've since discovered what the error is, and these are all in mint state condition. Well, let me rephrase that. I since believe I discovered what the error is um, on those pennies. So you can see I put them away already, and I did a lot of research, and I believe so on the reverse of the only on the reverse around the peripheral, around the edge, the circumference, the elements, the letters have other letters in them, right? And they all have it. All 30 of them have it, right? Not all the pennies from all the rolls, but 30 of them. And I believe it's called a stutter strike. Stutter. Like if someone has a stutter, or if somebody stutters something. And what a stutter strike is, as I understand it, is when the penny gets ejected, but it stays in a little bit. And these pennies, so I don't know if that puts the image, see, like if it's like, so it's like this, right? I guess so. So I guess what I'm saying is correct. This is how I understand a stutter strike works. And you can correct me in the comments below if you know better. It goes when the penny's ejected. If it doesn't get, and the next penny's put in, if it doesn't get ejected correctly, when the die comes down, it's going to hit the penny that it tried to eject, right? That will put this image on, I mean, it could be this image, that it'll put some image on the edge of the hammer. Well, in this case, it would be the anvil, because it's the reverse. It would be the if it's like this and it hits it, it's going to put the image on the anvil. If it was like this, it would put the image on the hammer, and it would even put the image of this penny. So I found if you ever find a penny that it has in the rim, you can make out like letters. That's from, I believe it's called a stutter strike. I believe that's the case. Anyway, I found 30 of them, and if you watch that video, I have a whole bunch of videos on that specific coin that I found. They're in mint condition. They have a very rare type of an error, even if it's not a stutter strike. Whatever the type of, it is a strike error. Whatever the type of error is, those pennies they might be extremely valuable. It's a very rare error. It's very apparent and obvious, and the pennies are in mint state condition, possibly 66, 67, maybe even a 68 might be in there. If any of them grade a 68, forget about it. You're talking about big money. So yes, it's possible. Do you have to be lucky? A lot of life depends on luck and blessings. Now, the next question might be, well, how did you send it in to get graded yet? That's a whole process. It's kind of expensive, and I'm just not up to that point yet with that. But yes, I will be sending them in to get graded. I do want to do a little bit more research on them. But I've asked people about them, and no one knew. And then like I said, I had to figure it out on my own, and that's as close as I got to understanding what the error is on those specific pennies. I found 30 of them. stutter strike. What an interest. So you have to again, you have to learn the basics to understand, to identify the errors that you're going to take out of the roll, right? I mean, you can't keep every single penny and put every single penny in a flip. I mean, you could, but that would be a waste of time. I think it would be 84. We are looking for the double ear again. We found a bunch of 84s, right? But no double ears. Yeah, I think that's a strike through. It's kind of weak, but it is there. Not as much copper in this roll as in 195, episode 195. But we did find some interesting ones. The 1960D was definitely interesting. If I remember correctly, I guess it really does depend on condition of the 1960D. Because I seen them sell for as little as $1.50, and eBay shipping just went up. It was for 3 ounces, it was $1.12 for so long, and now it's $1.25. So it went up a certain amount of percentages. 1976D, that's fine condition. So I don't know how you can sell it, and then eBay takes 20% or whatever, 15-20%. So I don't know how you can sell unless you're just putting a stamp on it. So that's the problem really with selling cheap coins on eBay. Is that if you're gonna at $2, I mean, maybe if you sell 1 million of them, and you get 50 cents, then you made $500,000. I mean, if you take home, I'm saying so. But believe me, 95, we're looking for doubling on the obverse for a key variety. I mean, I didn't see doubling, but whenever I see that it's a key variety, other key variety penny, then I'll look a little closer. I might even put it under the loop. And the funny thing is, 99% of the time, it's the dirt that makes it look like. This is the problem with dirty pennies, is that it can give the appearance of a of an error. But this is what I do. Excuse me. So under the loop, the R looked like it might have had something going on. So I'm gonna just clean it with alcohol. I keep the alcohol pads here. I'll clean the whole penny. What the hey. But I definitely want to clean the R. Yeah, it came right. See how nice it is? I like the alcohol pads for these minor cleanings. Now, one of the pennies we found in the previous episode, I don't know if that's going to work on it. I mean, maybe it'll take off some of the. I mean, remember, alcohol pads, they dry very quickly. So if you have a couple pennies, you want to very lightly take off some surface dirt. You got to use them pretty quickly, or they're going to dry. I mean, they're cheap, but you know what I'm saying. I got it out, so I had this other penny there. Look at those marks on. That's the reason. That's one of the reasons I kept this on the side. It had these weird. This is from episode 195. If you didn't see episode 195, Maybe I'll put the link at the end. But tell me that doesn't look like a, I mean, it's a zinc blister, but tell me it doesn't look like a D, a big D. And during episode 195, I was on a rant about some other stuff, so I didn't feel like getting into the whole cleaning thing. You know what I mean? I just put it to the side. But as long as I pulled out the alcohol wipe, I said, "Oh, let me check it out." I mean, you got to admit that looks like a, it looks like a letter. It's not, but it looks like it. Same thing with that over there. I'll even zoom in a bit. Yeah, same thing. Dirt, blisters, that post mint damage. It's very difficult sometimes to tell the difference, which is why most people just say post mint damage, post mint damage. Meanwhile, they don't even know. They're just saying it. So let's go back to this one, the original, and we want to look above when I say the R, right? In trust, because that would have made it. If it had any doubling, that would have made. Look how nice and clean it came out. Just a little dirt. So there's no doubling. So this is not a other key variety. And it just took a few seconds to check out. No big deal. Got a few more. So I guess the key takeaway from the topic of this video, which is what's it worth, is that you have to learn the basics. You have to pay attention. You have to take your time. I mean, in the video I just showed you before, which you can click on and watch yourself. Um, it could I actually did miss one, and I went back to it, and I was like, oh wow, I missed one of the errors. I actually found it after re-going through the pennies again. So yes, even ones that should be obvious sometimes are not. That's happened to me on more than one occasion, missing an error and finding it on the second way through. That's nice. Those letters are really in the rim, huh? I guess that's just where the rim kind of melted into the letters after a while. 65, no, nothing special about 65. Misaligned die. All right. That was good. That's a good roll. I mean, this is you know what? I'll talk about a little bit on in the outro. I'll do an outro today, I guess. All right, for those of you who don't want to see the outro, God bless. Please click like and subscribe. And I'll see you in episode 198, man. We're getting there. We're getting close to that 200. I guess we'll be at, in another couple years, we'll be at 1,000. That's my little finding the marbles that glow in the dark. Enough of that nonsense. So, of course, everybody wants to find a coin that's worth hundreds of dollars, tens of dollars, thousands of dollars. The chance of that happening is highly unlikely. The coins from that video, I mean, I'm pretty sure if it's an exotic era, which it appears to be an exotic era, and it's my faith in the even in those grading companies isn't that hot, to be honest with you. But let's say it was identified correctly as like a stutter strike, some sort of exotic era, and it graded like a 68 or 67. I don't know. In episode, I think 190, 195 or 194, there was a penny that I found, and I said, oh, if this was in whatever MS67 condition, it'd be worth maybe $1,000. And I said it off the top of my head, and then I looked at it, and I found MS67s for like 150 or $100 or something like that. So in that case, I was wrong. But there are many, many coins that are worth thousands of dollars in high grades. The ones from that video, I have a suspicion are one of them. The fact that I found 30 of them is kind of super. I mean, I honestly, I don't know how that video doesn't have millions of views, because I made a whole series of videos on them. And, you know, and that's to show you really how hard it is to get a channel up and going on YouTube. It's just the way it is. You know what I mean? I do put a lot of time and energy into my videos. So I'm going to have to attribute some of the growth to the channel to that time and energy. But finding a super duper coin is not any guarantee that you're going to get a bunch of views on YouTube. I have other videos with thousands of views, and I have no idea why. One of my shorts has like 30 or 40,000 views, and I kept on getting messages saying that my title was incorrect, didn't match. I made a mistake in my title. So, but I was getting thousands of views on the video with that title. So I left the title and I put in the description right at the top, I put, I know the title's wrong, but I'm not going to change the title because I'm getting thousands of views. And I was afraid if I changed it, then I would stop getting views. You know, it was like a joke, you know, but that's just the way it goes. A lot of things in life are hit and miss. Our luck, fortune, blessings, grace, whatever you want to call it. And, but you have to be in it to win it, right? So if you do enough coin roll hunting and you learn the basics, eventually you will find, I mean, small, close AMs, wide AMs, strike throughs. A lot of those average, low mintage, they're worth $5-10. Like people will pay $5-10, and there's other errors that people will pay 30, 40, 50, $60 for, and of course it just goes up and up from there. But if you go through enough coin rolls, you will find pennies that are valuable. And of course, copper is worth 3 something times face. So for every 50 copper pennies you find, it's worth $1.50 or $1.60 or whatever it is. And one day copper might just shoot up, and there won't be no more pennies, and those copper pennies might be worth 10 cents each. And if you got, which would be for every 1,000 pennies, you'd have $100. And for every 10,000 pennies, you'd have at 10 cents a penny, a copper penny, I'm saying. And then if you have any uncirculated and, special pennies. So to me, copper pennies are a very good investment. And penny roll hunting is a lot of fun. And you can find something with value. So I hope this outro was a nice ending to the theme of this coin roll hunt today, which is what's it worth. And it's complicated, so you have to put your time into it, and watch my videos. Very helpful for basic understanding of penny errors. Okay, God bless, and I'll see you in episode 198.